Well, hello, hello, hello. We are here this evening for another conflict conversation. I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you guys and say hello to me in the comments. Let me know that you're here. I am here every day, Monday through Saturday, pouring out a little bit of who I am as your conflict manager leading up to my birthday because, as I said, I believe the best way to celebrate your existence is to pour out your purpose. And so, on today, I wanted to do a little bit of talking. Hey, Selena, good to see you. Wanted to do a little bit of talking today about getting rid of your conflict baggage. You cannot bring an old mindset into a new experience because it doesn't allow room. There's no room for a new experience because your mindset keeps blocking it. And when it comes to conflict, a lot of us have a lot of conflict baggage, right? We carry with us the memory of former conflicts that we have had that went poorly, right? And so, whenever you've had a negative conflict experience, then you carry that with you into your next conflict. And so, one of the things that you've got to really work to do is to be open to a new experience. And so, I was talking with a leader on today with a team leader. And she was sharing with me that she has a new team member. And so there was a meeting that occurred. And in the meeting, as they were kind of trying to problem solve and find out what the breakdown had been that led to a negative outcome. This particular in the meeting, one of the possibilities was that maybe this new team member had not done something in a timely fashion. Okay, so you've got a new team member. We've had an issue where we've not met expectations. And so, in the middle of the team trying to kind of troubleshoot and problem solve what happened, one of the possibilities that was raised was that this new team member may not have gotten some things done on time. That was not true, but that was raised as a possibility. And so, this new team member had been fretting that her reputation had been damaged, that her performance was not up to par, like really had struggled for days and days and days, wondering like what was going on. And so she finally worked up the nerve to go to this team leader and to say, hey, I'm really concerned that, you think I'm not doing my job or I'm not meeting expectations. And I've been stressing out over it for days. And so this particular leader said she told the new team member, of course, because she's a conflict confident leader, we've worked together. But she told the new team leader, like, that's not how I operate. Like, if I had any concerns about your performance, if I had any questions about your performance, those concerns wouldn't live in my head, right? I would talk to you about it and I would work with you. You're new. Even if you didn't do something appropriately, my assumptions would be that I needed to give you some more training, that I needed to make sure that you weren't overwhelmed and that you were transitioning into this new experience well. And so the new team member responded to the leader that's worked with me and said, wow, on my last job, ding, 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 there's that conflict baggage. It's already popping up. The new team member said, on my last job, my supervisor would be dissatisfied or have a negative impression of me, and she would just keep it and wouldn't tell me anything, wouldn't talk to me about it until her level of frustration reached epic proportions. And then she would just blow up, right? It wasn't a conversation. It was just a blow up where she would be fussing at me or she would be upset with me. And I guess I brought that into this new job and I began to fret and worry that I was on my way to yet another supervisor blowing up at me. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't even on the radar. But it was that conflict baggage. It was that bad experience that she had had with a former supervisor that she brought into this new position. And let's not even deal with the conflict that was actually a healthy conflict that existed among the team here, where they were strategizing and problem solving. Let's talk about that internal conflict that that new team member carried all that time. Let's talk about the days of this new team member wondering, is my performance good enough? Am I in trouble on my job? Am I being held accountable for something that may or may not have been my fault? Am I expected to know things that I don't know because I'm a new team member? Is someone fixing to go off on me? How many of us are just like that team member, though? We've had negative conflict experiences and we teleport them into our current situation, right? How many of us have done that in relationships, right? I can be transparent enough. I don't know if my husband is watching, but in the early days of our marriage, I would transport or teleport, whatever you want to say, some of my negative conflict experiences and relationships that I'd had prior to my relationship with my husband. And I had to say, you know what? I am really a little difficult to deal with because I am holding my current relationship to the negativity of my former relationships. And so there were times when my husband and I would need to have meaningful conversations in order for us to grow closer, in order for us to have a more cohesive relationship. But I would throw up this block, right? Because I would think that the way I had been treated previously, and let me just be transparent, I had been in a situation where someone couldn't handle who I was becoming, right? And wanted me to be kind of stagnated. One of the things I always say concerning my husband is I appreciate the fact that he's never made me swallow who I am to stop him from choking. Because I had been in that situation before where I was supposed to be in a relationship with someone, but they were intimidated by me. And so, in order to be with them, I had to shrink instead of grow. And so when I got into the relationship with my husband, here I am, and he's trying to talk to me about things that are necessary from his perspective for us to grow closer, for us to have a better relationship, for us to be mutually satisfied. And the moment he tries to address something with me, I'm inserting my past experience and I'm basically saying, is he trying to make me change who I am? Is he trying to make me shrink? Because that was what I had experienced previously. And so when it comes to conflict, a lot of times as we're talking with someone, a lot of times as we are being engaged by someone who's trying to help us be better, who has pure intentions, we insert that negative experience and we block what could actually be beautiful, right? I don't want any of you all to be internalizing conflict because you're making assumptions and presumptions that this is the same thing. Here I am in a new environment and it's a repeating cycle, because oftentimes it's not a repeating cycle anywhere but in your mind. It's your mentality that is making you fear what's going on. It's making you question whether you belong in environments that you belong in, right? And if you are insecure because of a past conflict experience, you've got to do the work to heal from that. You've got to do the work to overcome that, because if you don't, you're probably messing up good opportunities because of bad memories. I'm going to say that again. Don't mess up a good opportunity because you have bad memories. Don't hold someone else responsible for the conflict disappointment that you previously experienced, right? As I see this in so many contexts. I just gave you an example. I gave you two examples. I gave you the example of someone whose conflict baggage made them almost unhappy in a great job opportunity where they have a conflict confident leader who's there to help them and to support them as they acclimate to this new position. But they got so traumatized in their former work life that they almost internalized it negatively and went through a lot of stress they didn't have to go through. It almost caused them to have some dissension with fellow team members. Didn't have to do that. I gave you the example in relationships, using my own marriage as an example of how you can go into a new relationship and, listen, let me just put this in perspective for you. If in my relationship with my husband, if because I had so much conflict, negative baggage, he was unable to express himself and to tell me how he really felt, and for us to work together to become closer and to know how to dwell with one another harmoniously and in peace, what do you think would have happened to our relationship over the long term? Because he would have shut down because every time he tried to express something to me, he got met with conflict resistance because of my baggage. And so, depending on his personality style, which I know his personality style would have been just to not say anything and just kind of suck it up. And then he would have been walking around and he would have been unhappy in the relationship. And I would have been clueless because nothing was being communicated. And it would only be a matter of time before his unhappiness reached a level of overwhelm. And then he would have completely checked out, or else he would have blown up. But the shutdown would have been caused by my inability to look at my healthy conflict with him through the lens that was clear. I would have been looking at the conversations through the lens of my old experience. And so it's so, so important that you get rid of your conflict baggage. Your current boss is not your former boss. Your new coworker is not your old teammate, right? The new relationship you're in is not the same as the old relationship that you were in. This friend is not going to betray you like that friend. You've got to get rid of the baggage, because if you don't get rid of the baggage, you're going to shut yourself down, or you're going to blow up, whatever your conflict response style is. You're going to engage that conflict response style whenever someone tries to have a meaningful conversation with you. And then the end result is going to be those meaningful conversations stop, or history repeats itself. So I'm challenging you on this evening. Do the work to get rid of the conflict baggage. I want you to think back and say, did I give this person a chance to have a meaningful conversation with me? Or did I shut down because of my history? And if you shut down because of your history, then you've got to do your work, because you can't do that. It's going to mess you up, right? I was reading an article, and I'm probably going to do a more in-depth post because it was a very powerful article, but it actually talked about how sometimes we don't get meaningful feedback. And so growth opportunities pass us by because no one tells us what we need to do to improve. And when no one tells you what you need to do to improve, you walk around thinking you're good, but everyone's just working around you. Everyone's just walking on eggshells and tiptoeing around you because for some reason they feel like they can't talk with you, right? We gave one of the reasons on yesterday during our conflict conversation. Whenever you have a blame mindset instead of an accountability mentality, it's difficult. But another reason is because a lot of times when people try to talk to us, when people try to give us the benefit of their perspective, when they try to help us, we immediately assume that it's just like a negative conflict experience that we had before, and we shut down. So get rid of the conflict baggage. Embrace the opportunity to grow. And the only way you're going to grow, we said this yesterday, the only way you're going to grow is if somebody can tell you what you don't know, what you're not doing correctly, areas you need to work on, and how you need to improve. So, here's my question to you on today. When's the last time someone disagreed with you? Let me just rephrase that question. People disagree with you all the time. When's the last time someone told you they disagreed with you? If everybody around you is always agreeing with you and always on your side and always sees it your way, chances are you're living in a false reality and they have internalized because for some reason they think they can't be straightforward with you. And when's the last time you expressed disagreement with somebody else? Because if you're hesitant to talk about your true perspective and your true feelings, chances are it's because you are importing your conflict history into a current situation and you're denying people the greatness that is you. Because you are this unique blend of perspective and experience and knowledge that makes what you say and makes your vantage point different than everybody else on your team and everyone else in your environment. So I'm challenging you tonight, get rid of your conflict baggage so that you can have an authentic, fully maximized relationship in every environment, at home, at work, in friendships, in your family, everywhere. Get rid of conflict baggage so you can be great because you're already great. You're just not letting the world know. And it's time for the world to know. So I'll be here with you guys. I'm going to be here Monday through Saturday. And if you have something you want to ask me or something you want me to address during one of our conflict conversations, let me know. I'd be happy to incorporate it into our talks. But make sure that you're following me on social media. I'm Shannon L. Felder on all social media platforms. This live goes out via Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So you can follow me on any of those platforms as we lead up to the 27th anniversary of my 21st birthday, giving you who I am, your conflict manager. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Get rid of that conflict baggage. Great relationships with true engagement are on the other side. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.